So Iizuka said in an interview he wants to do 3 years of DLC for Sonic Racing Crossworlds, as long as people keep playing it. So in this video I want to make some predictions about what characters, tracks, gadgets, collabs and basically anything they could add to the game. And some of these will be surprisingly realistic, but I'm also gonna let my fantasy run wild and talk about some additions I just find cool, as well as some suggestions you guys left in the comments. So let's get into it. 2 more years of DLC opens the door for a lot more Sonic characters to be added, and there are so many I could name, like Mephiles, Black Doom, Infinite, Ray, Mighty, Fang, Tikal, Chaos. Like for a lot of these they already have a 3D model, and for Chaos they wouldn't even need to add a voice at all. But I'd love to see some more obscure picks, like Styx the Badger. They literally name drop her in Sonic Frontiers, just for her to not even appear in the biggest Sonic roster in any spin-off. But why not add more characters from Sonic Boom, like Fastidious Beaver?
This is Styx the Badger, and I shall bring you the truth! The truth! The truth! The truth!
Actually, I can't handle the truth.
Or Dave the Intern. They're definitely the funniest side characters in the Sonic Boom show. Heck, why not add Chris Thorndike? The whole thing with this game is crossing over to different worlds, so why not go to other Sonic universes as well? A lot of people want to see some IDW characters, like Surge, Tangle, Whisper. These 3 even have 3D models already in Sonic Forces Speed Battle. At this point, they may as well add Tom Wachowski or Wade Whipple. You guys are wrong about Wade Whipple, bruh. I liked him in the Knuckles show. Now let's move on to the SEGA characters, which we're already getting 10 more of in the first year of DLC. I should mention that nothing indicates these characters couldn't be other Sonic characters as well, but for this video I'll be choosing SEGA characters from other franchises. Knight and II have already been leaked, but lots of other characters from Transformed could make the cut as well. Shinobi just got a new game, so putting in Joe Masashi would make a lot of sense. A bunch of other SEGA franchises have had games announced for them as well in this trailer, so BD Joe, Pete, Gillies, Thunderhead and Axel Stone are definitely strong contenders. Now this next one is gonna sound unrealistic, but it actually makes a lot of sense. See, Hatsune Miku isn't actually owned by SEGA, they just make the games for her, but they still added her to Racing Crossworlds. Similarly, SEGA made this Demon Slayer game, which is a very popular anime. I don't know much about it myself, but I've heard a lot of anime heads talk about it, so them adding Tenjiro Kamoto is a very big possibility, or any other character that's popular. The most famous SEGA character that hasn't been confirmed yet is Bayonetta. The only reason I could imagine for them not adding her is because this is a kids game, and Bayonetta's games are 18+. That didn't stop them from adding Ichiban from Yakuza though, so it's definitely possible. And for the final SEGA character, I bet we're gonna add the Red Angry Bird. He is incredibly iconic and owned by SEGA now. He's already in Sonic Forces Speed Battle and Sonic Dash. What could possibly stop them from adding him to this racing game as well? But why stop there? Iizuka wants 3 years of DLC, which means there's room for so many more classic characters. Personally, I'd love to see Billy Hatcher come back. He only had 1 game to his own and was only in 1 Sonic Racing game, but he just has such a classic design. Anyone who played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing will recognize him. Also, Ulala would be super cool. This game lacks in female characters. Out of the 32 currently, only 9 of them are feminine, or 8 if you don't count Sage. And none of the announced characters are female either, besides Pinky, I guess, and probably Korra for the Avatar collab, so they should add Ulala as well. And finally, I'd love to see Amigo, and I'm not the only one. On one hand, this is definitely possible since he's a classic character just as much as Knights and II, but compared to the likes of Hatsune Miku or Joker, he's not that popular, so maybe they would wait until year 2 to add Amigo. But if they do add him, they need to bring back Sunshine Tour. And there's 2 ways they could do this. They could remix it like Roulette Road and give it a whole new layout, or just port it. I think just porting tracks could be a really easy way to add more content to this game, and I'm kind of worried people will get bored of these tracks eventually. So far there are 25 and there are the Crossworlds as well, but adding more would only be beneficial in my opinion. Sunshine Tour specifically could fit really well as a Crossworld, with its zany dancing buildings, but it might have the issue of being too long. All of Crossworlds tracks are pretty short, and Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing tracks are longer on average, except for Treetops. This track almost fits Crossworlds perfectly. It's short, it has a pretty unique theme not in this game yet. The only problem is its very tight turns. I don't know how well that would work with Sonic Racing Crossworlds controls. The tracks in Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed are also very long, but they could always remix them. Personally, I'd love to see Burning Depths and Dream Valley again, because they have such cool themes. Team Sonic Racing also has long tracks, but it has some bangers like Clockwork Pyramid and Haunted Castle. There is already a desert and spooky themed level, but they could just use a part of them as a Crossworld or remix them. But why limit ourselves to these 3 games, when they could go for more Sonic Riders tracks? I think a rendition of Babylon Garden or Digital Dimension would be really cool, since they're so unique. Okay, I have one more idea, but it's really unrealistic. Resort Island from Sonic R. Imagine they just added this track with its original layout. It would be so cool to have all these different routes, and imagine if you could go into the water at any point you'd like, letting you transform anywhere you want. Before moving on to the collabs, there are some extra features I'd want to see added that could help out the longevity of the game. Firstly, they should add more skins. They could give characters riders or boom outfits, for example, or they could do stuff like DJ Vector. Maybe making these unlockable through completing challenges in online matches, for example, like how you have challenges in Fortnite. That would give people more of an incentive to keep playing the game. What I'd love to see as well is some limited time game modes, and not just the festival game modes with special win conditions. I'm talking about stuff like an only skill item game mode or a no item game mode. They could have a 2-team game mode where one team has monster trucks and the other has boosts and lasers to escape them. Trucks versus escapers, I'd call it. Now let's talk about those collabs. And since we've got characters in the game like SpongeBob and Minecraft Steve, nothing is really out of the question. Firstly, I want to bring light to a very recent collab, Sonic x McLaren Racing. They released this whole animation in which Sonic interacts with Oscar Piastri. So why isn't he in the game yet? And where's Lando Norris at, bruh? I guess you could say they wouldn't add real people to the game, but they added Danica Patrick in Transformed. Honestly, I'd be more surprised if they don't add these guys at some point. Maybe they could add a real F1 circuit as a track as well. That could get the attention of a whole new audience. That's not the only collab they've started recently though, as they're also working together with DC to make a whole comic line. So what they could do is add the superhero costumes as skins, or just add DC characters. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or even the Jonkler. I know there's already Joker from Persona 5, but the Joker is one of the most popular characters in existence. Another very possible pick would be the Barbarian or Goblin from Clash. Supercell has this game called Squadbusters, and they recently added Sonic to the game as a full-on playable character. So you can play with him alongside the Barbarian and stuff. Another game that's one of the most popular is Fortnite, with there being a Sonic car in it. A lot of people want the Sonic skin in Fortnite, but why not add Fortnite characters to Sonic Racing Crossworlds and have like a Tilted Towers track or something? They could add Jonesy, Peely, or any other popular skin. Okay, I'm done being realistic. Why not add Goku? He's extremely popular and a lot of Sonic fans are also fans of Dragon Ball, so a lot of people would be hyped for this. Why not add Lightning McQueen to the game? I mean, you'd have to make a separate character type where he can't choose your vehicle, because he's already a vehicle, but it would be perfect for a racing game, and there could be a Radiator Springs track. What about Garfield? I mean, he's worked with Sonic before. Why even stop at fictional characters? Why not add some popular Sonic viewers like Sam Procrastinates, Radical Soda, Cybershell, GW.
This thing looks terrible!
Why stop there? They may as well put in Scott the Walls or Ninja, Mr. Beast, Taylor Swift. Okay, I do have to admit those last few predictions may have been a little unrealistic. So let's just move on to your suggestions. Liv Ryzen says they want a track based on Metropolitan Highway from Sonic Forces. And I agree, that would be really cool. It's a pretty underrated theme from that game, and they could just reuse a lot of the assets. One Big Frosty thinks they're gonna add Sanctuary Falls from Sonic Racing Transformed. And yeah, I think that's definitely possible as well. But they might be afraid of the hate they'll get for reusing that theme again. They also suggest Aegis, another Persona character. And since that's a really popular franchise, I think that's definitely possible. Pixelated Cube 44 says Sonic. And yeah, I could definitely see them adding Sonic because he's one of the most popular Sonic characters. CTPP64 says they'd like a bunch more SEGA tracks and characters. And yeah, I agree, they should have more SEGA tracks. I think the very biggest Persona fans would buy the game if there was a Persona track. They also suggest more skill-based gadgets, like one that would give you extra rings or speed while in first, or one where air tricks are harder but they give you more boost. They already have some skill-based ones, like timing your drifts for boosts, and I think these two ideas would be really cool, but I don't think they'll add the extra rings and speed while in first because they want people to be able to catch up. That one annoying pub player also has a suggestion for a gadget. Lab 3 Monster Truck gadget that takes up all 6 slots. Nah bruh, come on now. I know it would take up all 6 slots, but that would just be super OP. Bagging items isn't a fun meta at all. So that was everything I wanted to cover in this video. If all of you have any more things you'd like to be added to Crossworlds, I'll happily read that in the comments. While you're down there, why not subscribe as well? I have a ton of Sonic content you'll certainly find interesting. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, and thanks for watching.